On the PEP Radio Newsroom, this is the daily news for May 14th, 2026. These are the stories we are reporting at this hour. Netanyahu's secret visit to the United Arab Emirates during the Iran war leads to a breakthrough, his office says. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu secretly visited the United Arab Emirates during the Israeli-U.S. war with Iran, further strengthening ties with a Gulf nation that normalized relations with Israel in 2020, his office said Wednesday. Netanyahu met with UAE President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan in a gathering that resulted in a historic breakthrough in relations between Israel and the United Arab Emirates, according to the statement. The announcement came just a day after the U.S. ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee, revealed that Israel had sent Iron Dome air defense weapons and personnel to operate them to the UAE. The publicly acknowledged deployment of Israel's military to the Emirates underlined the growing relationship between the two countries. The UAE, which has not commented on the reported visit by the Israeli leader, has faced Iranian missile and drone fire even after the ceasefire was reached last month. It has been trying to signal to nervous investors that it remains open for business and safe. A doctor who helped the ship take care of its passengers with hantavirus is isolated in a Nebraska medical unit. An oncologist traveling on the cruise ship at the center of a hantavirus outbreak says he's the lone American isolated at a special biocontainment unit in Nebraska. Dr. Stephen Kornfeld of Bend, Oregon, says he volunteered to help care for fellow passengers who began getting sick aboard the MV Hondius in April. He was among more than 120 passengers and crew evacuated from the ship and flown to different countries to enter quarantine, while 15 other Americans are being monitored at the National Quarantine Unit at the University of Nebraska Medical Center in Omaha. Kornfeld was the only one taken to a separate unit after a nasal swab he took on the ship tested positive for the virus. I feel wonderful, 100%, Kornfeld told CNN's Aaron Burnett out front on a video call from his hospital room Tuesday. He said there was a period on the ship when he came down with flu-like symptoms, including night sweats, chills, and fatigue, but he said he has no symptoms now. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick backs away from his Epstein blackmail claim in an interview with the House committee. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, in an interview with House lawmakers, backed away from said previous claim that convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein had blackmailed people. Lutnick agreed to sit for an interview with the House Oversight Committee last week after the release of case files on Epstein contradicted his claim on a podcast last year that he had been determined to never be in a room again with Epstein after a 2005 tour of Epstein's home that disturbed Lutnick and his wife. The House Oversight Committee released the transcript of the interview Wednesday, as well as transcript of an interview with Ted Waite, the former boyfriend of Epstein confidant Ghislaine Maxwell. Lutnick, who for years was neighbors with Epstein in New York City, had claimed in that podcast interview that Epstein engaged in blackmail, but under scrutiny from lawmakers, Lutnick said he was only speculating. And in Pennsylvania news, a man accused of making terroristic threats against 20 Pennsylvania elected officials has been arrested, police say. A man accused of making a hit list of 20 elected Democrats from Pennsylvania and making terroristic threats against them was arrested by Pennsylvania State Police, and that was announced on Tuesday. According to police, Adam G. Berryhill of Lebanon, Pennsylvania, was accused of making violent threats on his X account that included showing a firearm, making statements about shooting, and mentioning a Memorial Day operation. In a criminal complaint exclusively obtained by NBC 10, Berryhill is accused of posting at least 10 times on social media with these types of threats. In one post, Berryhill is accused of writing, "Look how full my hands are. Who are these people? They don't represent Pennsylvania. They are communist infiltrators. I'll have write up an operation for each one and file mandamus with the Commonwealth Court. I'll approach every legal avenue, and when they all fail, I start shootings, according to the criminal complaint obtained by NBC 10. Criminal complaint states that search warrants were issued for 2 of Berry Hill's X accounts on May 1st, and that through the investigation, officials were able to link the threatening posts back to him through emails, phone records, and an IP address. That's the news at this hour. PEP Radio is available on the Live 365 app, the PEP Radio page at paequality.com, Roku, Alexa, and wherever you find streaming radio. Up next is the Meadville area weather forecast here on PEP Radio.